Hey everyone, I'm Alex. I'll be your moderator today. That's Ethan, that's Sammy, and that's Christian. And today we're going to be talking about some movies. Now, we all know as college students, sometimes we need a way to distract ourselves. Life can be tough that way. And, at least for us, movies have always been there. Whether we're kids or just like nowadays. And inevitably, some movies are going to stick with us. So, today we're going to talk about how movies can affect people just in general, and what our favorite movies are, and how they affected us. So we're going to start off with that. Now, for me, one movie that I picked, just because, it was pretty hard for me to pick one, but in terms of, picking one that, affected me, I think the one I picked was, pretty alright for that topic, which would be How to Train Your Dragon. And if you haven't watched it, How to Train Your Dragon's about a boy named Hiccup who his mother and a lot of his tribe were attacked by dragons one day, which caused his tribe to harbor a sort of animosity towards dragons. Yet, despite that, one day he meets an injured dragon, and he decides to go against his tribe's values, and he befriends the dragon, and he comes to find out that there's more to dragons than just being something to be wary of, something that he wants to take revenge on. Instead, that dragon's just his friend. And he just views dragons as just living beings instead of something to take revenge on. Have you guys watched that movie?
A lot.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Dragon's so cute.
Toothless?
Yeah, Toothless, yeah.
Mm.
He's really cute.
He is really cute. I like Toothless.
One of the top dragons in that movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the live action.
Oh, there's going to be a
coming
live action? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that until I did some research for this. I actually didn't know because I hadn't seen the trailers either.
Oh.
So I didn't know that there was going to be a live action until pretty recently. And I actually found that out thanks to one Huff Lauren on Entertainment Weekly. And according to Huff Lauren, there's actually going to be one of the main characters, the female role. I forgot her name. But the main girl of the movie is actually going to have a bigger role in the live action. And apparently there's going to be more mythology packed into the movie. So that could be something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. I really like that movie because I guess how it affected me was it got me to be more in tune with my own personal empathy and seeing most things in general, but especially animals as more than just living beings, but not just, I wouldn't see them as just animals anymore, but it helped me see them more as living beings like the rest of us. They have hearts too.
Yeah.
And
Feelings.
that movie helped me be more in tune with that. Yeah, feelings.
That's a good
It's
observation.
a good movie.
Yeah.
I like the scene where Hiccup's riding on Toothless. It's the first time they're flying and they're going between the little cliffs
Mm.
Yeah.
instead of right over the water.
Yeah, that scene is really good. I need to rewatch that movie.
I'm excited to see how they do that scene in the live action.
Yeah. Have you guys seen most of the live action movies recently? Adaptations of Lion King, for example.
I watched the first live action Lion King adaptation when it was in theaters, but besides that, I don't think I've really seen too many.
Yeah, me neither.
Me
actually.
either.
I'm mostly just seeing clips on Twitter and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like some live action adaptations recently have been rough, but
Yeah.
given that it's I don't know. I'm more willing to give this one a chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you guys?
The movie I picked was Coco because I watched that one a lot when it came out. I remember seeing it in the movie theater, and I remember getting home, waiting for it to come out on digital so I can watch it again.
Yeah.
And I think the last time I watched it was actually in my Spanish class in my sophomore year of high school, so it's been a while since I last watched it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really good movie. I liked the songs in it. I feel like it had some really good songs. And
Yeah.
I feel like it was pretty impactful, the way it kind of had lessons about being who you want to be, honoring your family, your heritage,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then, can't remember his name, but there was that musician guy that the main character Miguel looked up to. And I remember him seeing his ripped up family picture that they had and seeing his guitar in there and thinking he was related to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And he ends up meeting him in the afterlife and finds out he's not, the good guy that he thought he was.
Yeah.
And stuff, and then finds out he's not related to him. And then he ends up being the main antagonist of the film. So I feel like a lesson that the film kind of taught you from that is don't really trust people too easily because they could be not who you think they are.
Yeah, for sure. I did also really like that movie, especially being from Hispanic heritage.
Yeah,
I quite liked it.
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot of representation. I've never really seen it with Disney, right?
I like the I forgot his name, the dog.
Oh yeah.
The like hairless dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Yeah, everything looks good, like the flowers, like the bridge and everything, and just the songs, like how does it go? I Am What or something like that?
Un Poco Loco.
Yeah, Poco Loco. That was really good. I really like that song and stuff. It was just very like, I don't know, it just made you feel like welcoming into the Mexican culture.
Until they had fun making it with like the skeletons and stuff. How they have like their arms kind of like pop off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was funny. Yeah.
I feel like to me, Coco is like the best Pixar movie in terms of its presentation.
Yeah.
Like Pixar is known for its detail, but I feel like Coco has so much of it in every single scene it presents itself in.
I heard that they're working on a sequel, so I'm excited.
That's
Really?
exciting. Yeah.
I haven't heard of that. I hope so. I'd like a sequel to that movie.
Yeah, it'd be really nice.
I like the orange flower petal leaves.
Yeah, that was
like
really
the bridge.
nice. I really like those.
That was a really pretty aesthetic.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
Mm.
Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Well, I picked the movie Up. I just really liked how it showed us a lot about the human life, lessons that it teaches us. Like Carl, I mean, it really teaches, young kids grief at a young age. And I've never really experienced it, right, when I was small. So seeing that, I was like, oh my God, like, it's not, it's a reality,
Yeah.
And like, he handled it pretty, like, rough, he just became isolated and just his everyday life was just very boring. He didn't really care about anything. And so once he got the opportunity to go to Adventure Falls,
I think that was it.
Adventure Falls to, have his house there, for Ellie, because that's one of their dreams that they had, but obviously they couldn't do it together, which is really sad. It just brings a lot of emotion to the audience, especially to me, seeing grief and that it's a reality and that we can't, escape it, right?
Yeah.
And then another lesson that really taught me was that, building relationships with other people can help us in a way too. Like, Russell, he was like, no, don't, I don't want your help. But, he probably did need the help. He was elderly.
Yeah.
And so, basically it was just like really funny and like also like Kevin and like Kevin Chocolate, and it was just so cute and like how the Kevin had little kids and I think it was a girl too, Kevin, right? And then they did a boy name. So it was just really funny and it just taught us a lot about, human reality and also how the characters, like their features were really, like human, like, I feel like it wasn't like, I mean, Disney did like a lot about cars and like toys and stuff. And so Up was really just a real movie for me. And it was funny, impactful. And then animation was really good, like I said.
I like how it took like a different kind of approach from the other movies where their other movies are just kind of like a straightforward, lesson on how to deal with something or something like that. This one was more, especially towards the beginning of the film, it was more like how not to deal with grief. It was
very
complex
sad.
movie.
It just threw us a rock right there in the beginning. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm already crying. It's 5 seconds.
Like I remember watching it when I was a little kid and just being like, oh, cool, there's a house with balloons and it's flying, and then I was like, there's a talking dog. And like thinking it's a cool movie, and then I watched it when I got a bit older, and I was like, this movie's like deep.
It is deep. It's like at every stage of our lives, I feel like we see it in a different way, which is really cool, and I just really like that movie because of that, and it just teaches us a lot about like moving forward with our adventure, like he became a father figure to Russell because Russell, his dad, left him supposedly. So it was just really cool how he became happy and stronger at the end and contrast to the beginning where he was sad and isolated. And it just teaches us that building new relationships, having new adventures, and just, living life is really the goal,
Especially like over a period of time. I feel like the movie has a lot about with growing up too.
Yeah.
Like especially seeing how forgot the main character's name, the old one. What was his name?
Carl?
Carl,
Yeah.
yes, Carl, excuse me. Especially seeing Carl, we see him at like a young age, and then obviously for most of the movie, he's
Yeah.
old. And then we see Russell, who's like a similar age to Carl was at the beginning. It's a lot about like growing up, and especially like what comes with growing up. And I think that ties in with a lot of the grief the movie explores. There's just a lot to it.
Yeah, it's just a lot. Yeah.
I also really like what Alex brought up about how you see Carl at a young age at the beginning. I like how it shows you him and his wife like meeting when they were little.
Oh, yeah,
and
it
it
was
shows
so
you like them
cute.
growing up together
Yeah.
and getting married.
Yeah.
And then goes to like her death, and then
Yeah.
it just kind of like progresses
Yeah.
into the main plot
Yeah.
of the movie.
Yeah, I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. Well, yeah. And I just like every time I hear the music, the theme music, it just makes me cry. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. But yeah, I just really love that movie, and I feel like it's if I recommend a movie from Disney, that would be it, you know. But yeah.
Right. And for me, my favorite childhood movie, and probably still one of my favorites, is Cars. Cars. If you ask my parents what my most watched movie as a child was, before you can even finish that question, they will say Cars. I watched that movie so much as a kid, and well, just because I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't know Cars, there's this big hot shot called Lightning McQueen. He's hot in his rookie system in the Piston Cup. 'Cause basically, it's just NASCAR car. But then at the end of the race, he ends up a three-way tie with the other two, I guess, quote-unquote main characters, even though they appear for like 5 minutes in the movie. And in the traveling to the tiebreaker race in California, he gets lost from his trailer and ended up in the little town on Route 66 that is also off the map. And in there, he learns to just, sorry for this pun, but take the slow lane in life and just enjoy everything about him and make a lot of friends and at the end of the day as well, yeah.
Yeah, I really like Cars. It was very, I don't know, I never really knew about cars anyways, you know, but seeing all those cool cars, I was like, okay, these exist.
You know, when I was at Disneyland, I went on. They have like a racing cars ride. It's kind of like a little roller coaster type ride, but like it's your group in a car and another group in a car, and you're like racing. I went on that like 3 or 4 times.
That's like one of the best rides at Disney, honestly.
Yeah, if you want to wait 3 hours for it.
Yeah. Well, we got the fast pass.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, for real. Yeah, that was a really good ride, honestly.
Yeah, it's just generally just a really good movie. I also like that movie a lot.
Yeah, like the animation was really good too.
Yeah, especially for them having to animate human features through cars.
Oh yeah,
like
that's
them
really
having to
cool.
experiment with that really shows how good Pixar is in general about conveying emotions through things. Because before they did it through a fish before, a toy, and now a car.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like having like the mouth move on the car, making it look natural to the movie was kind of like a big issue they probably had.
That movie was really good with its lessons too, like teaching kids not to be like too deep in their own ego and like there's more to the world than just themselves, and it's never not worth it to meet other people, especially like McQueen was kind of like, he wasn't really entertained with the people at Route 66, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of just like, he thinks of them as like not worth his time, but
He just kind of wanted to get out of there. Like,
Yeah, because when he first got there, when he first had to repaint the road, he did a really bad job at it.
yeah.
When he tried to leave after getting the car bump or the car boot off,
Yeah.
he just instantly runs out of gas because they knew he would try to do that.
Yeah.
And then contrast that with the end of the movie where when he's racing against the other two cars, he could have, was it that he could have won the race?
Yeah, he could have
he
easily
stopped.
won it at the end.
Yeah.
Right at the end.
Yeah, he could have won the race, and then he decides not to because one of the other racers was like, I guess, incapacitated. So instead, he goes back to like not only help him, but he helps him just cross the finish line over him. It was a really strong movement. It was a really strong moment that stuck with me ever since I was a
Yeah,
kid.
because you could tell Lightning grew in the movie as well. Because at the start, like you say, he was like this egotistical person.
Yeah.
But at the end, in that moment, he even recites the words of like his mentor, Doc Hudson, who is, by the way, one of the greatest characters in all of fiction.
Really good
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, in that moment, he recites his mentor's words while he's helping out someone else he never thought he would help out.
Yeah, this is a really good movie.
I found it funny how the first movie was racing Second movie is like spies.
Yeah.
Third movie racing.
Yeah.
Just goes right back.
Very interesting movie trilogy you have there.
Yeah.
I think Cars 2 has one of my favorite movie scenes in
Yeah.
general, though, when Mater eats the like whole scoop of like wasabi,
Oh.
thinking it's pistachio ice cream.
Oh yeah. I do.
Like
remember
runs
that.
out, like starts drinking the fountain water.
Yeah, wasabi spicy. That's crazy.
That was a good one.
But yeah.
But yeah, now that we've laid down what some of our movies were, what about some of the reviews that people left for it?
Well, for Up, I seen nothing but good reviews most of the time. They're 4 to 5 stars. And according to the Rotten Tomatoes, it was a 98% in tomato meter and I believe a 97% for popcorn meter. So it was just really good reviews. Everyone was saying that it was touching, it was very emotional, and just the animation was good, like I said. It was, you know, a lot of human features and just the animation of, like, you know, adventure, falls, right?
Yeah.
Adventure, yeah, I think, yeah. So basically it was just a lot of positive reviews and how it was very impactful for every age. And a lot of adults even were like, oh my God, this made me cry and this and that. And so
Yeah.
it was a very touching movie. And like I said, there was not really any bad reviews on it. I think it was just because it was the animation pulled it together, the emotion put it together. There was a lot of funny moments as well. Like Squirrel, I don't know, a lot of people were saying the squirrel part, like Squirrel. And then just like the Kevin part, it was just a good movie. That's what they were saying.
I
So.
like the joke with the tennis balls
Oh,
on Charles Walker and the dog.
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, he's like, you can keep it, just a present. No, yeah, it was just a really good movie. A lot of I believe a lot of top critics were saying that it was just one of the best like Disney Pixar movies, and so it, you know, it says it for itself. You know, the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people love it.
Yeah.
So some of the reviews for How to Train Your Dragon were like a lot of the same thing. It was very highly rated. If I could be really mistaken, but I think it was like 99 last time I checked, 99% on the tomato meter. And a lot of reviews were talking about it's a good story, it's written well, it's really well animated, which to be fair, it is really well animated. It's a really pretty movie.
Yeah.
But a lot of them kind of like stopped to that extent. There was one review that I read on Rotten Tomatoes that I really liked though. Now, unfortunately, they chose to have their name anonymous, but in some ways, I feel like that kind of adds a bit more weight to it than like having a critic review it, because like usually I feel like critics have a reason to review a movie, right? Like whether be it get some clicks on their website or whatnot. Meanwhile, if it's like a person reviewing it, just like just a viewer, it's
Yeah.
like they just want to watch the movie with no like other motive, and it's
Yeah.
just like it's coming straight from the heart, you know.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree with that? Because I feel like
Yeah.
I feel a
Yeah,
little crazy
yeah,
for thinking
yeah.
that.
No, yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
observation. I didn't realize that.
Mm.
Yeah, because if it's a top critic, then they're kind of paid to do that
Yeah.
in a way. So
Like-
yeah,
Like they could still be very genuine.
Yeah.
Like top critics can still be very genuine with what they say, but
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, it's still a job to them.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I think sometimes critic reviews can be kind of biased
Yeah,
also.
that too.
Because especially if you guys know IGN
Yeah.
or whatever, have you guys watched Invincible?
I have watched
Yeah,
it.
So
Actually,
the
yeah.
season 3 finale I thought it was really good.
Yeah, if we would have included shows, I actually would have thought about
Yeah.
including that. Talking about that.
But I remember IGN rating it like a 3 or a 4 out of 10 or
Really?
whatever, and I remember everyone like getting so mad about that because everyone thought it was really good,
Yeah.
and then people looked into it a bit more. They actually read the review, and the person that wrote the review very clearly either didn't watch any of the show before it or like didn't pay attention at all during the finale.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
'Cause-
Critics, there's always like something else to what they're
Yeah,
writing.
they got like so much stuff wrong, like stuff that like they just completely missed.
Mm.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm always iffy about critic reviews, especially on Rotten Tomatoes, because I forgot it was either the Mario movie or the Sonic 3 movie, but I had a very poor tomato score on there.
Sonic
Des-
3 was good.
Yeah, despite both those movies being exceptionally good for what they should be,
Yeah.
be to the audience, but apparently for some reason critics didn't like it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sonic 3 and Across the Spider-Verse, I don't even want to think about how many times I've watched them.
Yeah. I really like both of those movies. But yeah, the review that I was talking about was talking about how like, how do I put this? It's a lot about, the review was talking about how Hiccup made like a really big choice, and that sort of influence like really changed the lives of a lot of the people, just like, not even just of people, but like most of the living beings on that like island that they were on. It made like a big change, and I think that's a really good point, because that sort of thing helps kids to like know to do what they think is right without any other influence of like, Hiccup's tribe did not agree with him at all, right? Like that's something that he got shunned for.
It's mainly his dad.
Yeah.
I feel like, which kind of, I feel
but like
would
his
be
dad
a
was
bigger,
the chief too.
Yeah, so it had like more of an impact on
Yeah,
like,
so
that decision.
yeah, and because of that, it's like he just did what he thought was right for the sake of doing what was right. He befriended a injured dragon, and he just did it because he knew it was right. And that's something that's another thing that taught kids that like, just do what you think is right. It doesn't really matter what other people think or others' values. Do what you think is right. You don't have to really consider others. And when it comes to like what the right thing to do is, if you know it's right, just do it. But yeah, that was the review that I saw.
Yeah. When I was looking at the reviews for Coco, the first thing I did was I just kind of went on Google and I looked up Coco movie reviews just to kind of get like a quick little look at what people were saying about it. Yeah. And when it gave me the, you know, like 5-star, 4-star, 3, 2, 1 and stuff, the majority of them were 5 stars. Right. There were barely any 4, 3, or 2, and then a little bit of 1-star reviews. But I feel like every movie or show, no matter how good it is gonna have people giving it 1-star reviews. But it said overall it was like a 4.8 out of 5 stars for it. And then I went to go look at Rotten Tomatoes, and the tomato score, the critic reviews were at a 97%, and the popcorn or the audience reviews were at a 94%.
Yeah. That's good. That's high.
Yeah, that was like really good.
Yeah, it's a really powerful movie. It's a very influential too. Like, it's a movie that can hit hard for a lot of people. Yeah. Coco. Like, especially for like a certain demographic. That's the word I was thinking of.
And I just kind of want to go back to like the whole critic reviews versus audience reviews and stuff that you were talking about, because when I was looking at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, a bunch of the critic reviews were pretty like short, concise stuff. Like I can't remember her name. There was this one girl that left a review. She was from BBC News. It said she just basically said like, oh, it's a great movie for family to watch. Left it like a 5-star. And then I went and I looked at the audience reviews, and it was like, it's a nice movie. It goes deep into remembering your dead family members, honoring your family lineage, all that stuff. They just kind of like went really, really deep into it. Some of them were like 2 paragraphs long. Wow. It was like,
those are my favorite reviews. I'm not gonna lie. When they're like, it's not just like, it was a good movie, it looked nice, but like when it's like
into
really
depth on why it was good.
Yeah, like, exactly. Those are my favorite reviews.
Yeah. This one person left a review was like, my kids and I watch this like 3 times a week.
Yeah, it's really that good, honestly, to watch. And there's a lot of detail too. I feel like you have to pay attention really closely to it.
You kind of have to watch it multiple times.
Yeah,
so
like to in order.
You can like get everything that's going on.
Yeah, because it's a lot going on. Like,
because Coco is definitely one of the best like visually Pixar movies out there. There's so much detail in every single scene. Yeah, and just everything just feels like it should be real. Like,
Despite being about like Dia de los Muertos, it feels very alive, that movie.
It does.
I like how the animation has kind of like stayed good.
Yeah,
despite the movie now becoming like somewhat like older.
Yeah. How old is that movie?
I don't remember. I want to say it came out like,
it's like at least 10 years old, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe like 2016, maybe a little bit before that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, the animation was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah. What about you, Kristen?
Yeah. All right, for Cars, the average thing on Rotten Tomatoes was around like a 75 to 80%, which, looking past my nostalgia, I'll probably agree with that. It's definitely on the weaker side of like the old like 2000s Pixar movies, which is understandable. I think experimenting with cars is definitely a risk they have to take with that. But they still managed to create something good with it. A lot of the reviews, though the bad ones especially, were saying that the movie was kind of drawn out and like I don't know, some people were just questioning why they were cars and not just normal people.
But the movie's called Cars.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like much of a deep reason for that. Like,
I remember my friends and I sitting there like, why are there no humans in cars? We're like doing our research, like
yeah.
seeing stuff like if you look at this scene, there's like this.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, like guys, I don't expect like Dale Earnhardt to just pop in randomly.
Yeah.
Like
It's like, hey guys.
yeah. No, yeah, a lot of the good we're saying just basically the basics of the Pixar, which I think Cars still does well. The soundtrack of Cars is great. Obviously, we all know "Life Is a Highway." That's one of the
Yeah.
most iconic Pixar songs. Also, the other song, the first song you hear in the movie, "Real Gone," that's also a really good and iconic one, followed after by McQueen's also iconic speech.
Yeah.
Speech, which a lot of the reviews were saying, yeah, a lot of the writing is also just good because it's Pixar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, from what I was saying, yeah, a lot of people were saying it's good just because it was Pixar. But a lot of identity of Cars, like I said, yeah, because it was Pixar.
Yeah.
There's nothing really that unique about what Cars is trying to tell you. Because a lot of other Pixar, I feel like other Pixar movies tells what Cars does, but better.
Yeah.
But Cars still has its charm from being one of those older movies that did it first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going into what you said about the length and stuff, how long do you say the movie was?
Around 2 hours.
Around 2 hours. I feel like that's a good movie
Yeah.
length because I feel like I go to the movie theaters and I sit down and watch a movie and it ends up being like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Sometimes just like an hour long, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that was way too short.
No, it's done already.
I know.
Like the
I was
ads were longer.
Because I noticed, I'm like, oh, cool, the movie's starting. Then we get like 10 minutes into the movie
Yeah.
and we're already at the like second act
Yeah.
of the movie, pretty much. I'm like, what is happening? Everything's going. That's how I felt with If you guys watched Despicable Me 4.
I haven't watched it. At least maybe I have watched it.
I saw it when I was in the movie theater, and I was
Yeah.
like, everything's going way too quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like that's partly
Yeah.
me growing up with like the older Marvel movies,
Yeah.
like Avengers, Iron Man, all that stuff, and the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, they take
Hence the
longer.
droid.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Those were like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, those are
roughly.
long.
Especially the Star Wars ones. I feel like
Yeah.
all of them were about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
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 Like,
And yeah.
yeah, but I guess for 2006, people were expecting a bit shorter for an animated movie.
Yeah.
But now you have people like you have a movie like Avengers Endgame, which is 3 hours long.
That
and
one,
people,
I like that
people were
one.
just willing to pay for that and watch it in theaters.
Well, also how Infinity War ended off. I
Yeah.
feel like everyone was just
Yeah.
kind of like on the edge of their seats
Yeah.
throughout the entire wait for that movie.
yeah. But yeah, you compare that to Cars, which was a new IP, which
Yeah.
people had to experiment with.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, even if it's like nothing special with what it says, it's still like it still has its own identity, and
Yeah.
the way it goes about it is still different. To where I think it's still special for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like newer movies are kind of like drifting away to how older movies were
Yeah.
in a way, because I feel like older movies had more of an impact on audiences than newer movies, which are more just kind of like, oh, here's an entertaining hour-long film for you to
Yeah.
watch.
I see.
But
Like they have a more stronger message, right?
yeah,
Mm.
but like also, just a few weeks ago, Star Wars did their Revenge of the Sith Episode 3 like 20th anniversary re-release. So
Oh,
they brought it
yeah.
back to movie theaters,
Mm.
and I went with my dad. We went opening night for the movie, and that was like the most packed I think I've ever seen the movie theater. There were so many people.
Yeah. Most of the movie theaters I go to are like kind of small ones, like nothing like. I kind of just like they're not like big theaters.
Yeah, well, I
you know?
usually go to Brendan Theater in Vacaville all the time, but like no matter what, I feel like if I go see a movie, even if it is on opening night, the theater that I'm in might be packed. Like I went and saw the Five Nights at Freddy's movie opening night. That was fun. The theater was completely full. Everyone was like freaking out at all the things happening in it.
Yeah.
But like the overall theater wasn't really that full.
Yeah.
But we went opening night for Star Wars, pulled into the parking lot, and like the parking lot was packed.
Yeah.
Go up to the concession stand or whatever, the whole lobby is just filled with people. It's like
Yeah.
half the people in there are holding lightsabers. It's like
Yeah.
I
I
know
was-
that kind of thing is like a really special feeling because like you're all there for the same reason.
I know.
I think that's cool.
it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies too. So
Yeah.
it was crazy seeing it like on a movie theater screen. I feel like
Yeah.
versus like because I've only seen it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty old movie.
Yeah,
So yeah, we didn't really get the chance to like see it in
yeah.
theaters.
The visuals still look good too,
Mhm.
even though it came out in, like what 2005.
Yeah.
and stuff. Like the CGI looked great. It looks better than most movies now, I feel like.
Probably. I didn't watch the re-release. I kind of wish I did.
I mean, if you have the budget of Star Wars, I hope it looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, we're getting movies now that also have big budgets, and the CGI in there isn't even like nearly
Yeah.
as good.
Yeah,
Mm.
for real.
But yeah, you brought up an interesting point earlier of how like movies now aren't as impactful. What do you mean? Do you want to like go more in detail about that?
I'm mainly just talking about like the messages that the movies give out, because like all the ones that we talked about earlier were having like some important message to like take away from the film.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you get movies coming out now, and it's mainly just kind of like just an entertaining film. There's not really,
Yeah.
I mean, like it can have a message behind it, but it's not like emphasized as much as the older ones are.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like even if they have messages, it doesn't feel like as deep. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say that. I feel like
Or like they don't really go into it too much. It's just kind of like a thing that they kind of like focus on maybe like once or twice in the whole film, and then the rest of it's
More like
just
an
like, oh,
underlying
look at this
thing.
cool thing happening.
Yeah, I feel like that was a lot apparent when Toy Story 4 got announced. So people were like, why are we doing our Toy Story? The third one ended perfectly.
Yeah.
Why are
Oh,
we doing it
yeah.
again?
Yeah, I feel like 3 was a good. I still haven't even watched 4 because I
Yeah.
just felt
I
like,
didn't
me
either.
either. I
felt
haven't
like
watched
3.
it.
I felt like 3 was just like a good ending
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially what people are saying now about movies, people just feel like they're just cash grabs now for selling merchandise and like
Yeah.
stores and theme parks
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Same with I feel like this might be kind of controversial, even though
Yeah.
I feel like the majority of people agree with
Yeah.
it. The Star Wars sequels,
Yeah.
like episode 7, 8, 9.
That actually might not be that controversial. I feel like most people.
Most
agree
people
with
hate
that.
them.
Yeah.
I feel like they shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Episode 7 was fine, but
Episode
9.
7. It was okay.
Yeah.
8 got kind of bad. 9 just kind of like threw out everything
Yeah.
7 and 8 did.
They're just throwing random stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they don't have much depth into them because they're just trying to make profit or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
Yeah.
not the same as the originals. So
Yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna talk about how things aren't really as like impactful now, why don't we talk about how like impactful it was, or like with our movies in particular, like how do they impact people just like in general? Which if anyone would like to start with, you can go ahead, but if not, I can go.
I feel like because I have like a kind of minor in psychology. I feel like a lot of impact happens earlier at a younger age to people.
I can
Because a
see
lot
that,
when
yeah.
you're older and you're watching stuff, you already have a better definition of what you want in your life.
Yeah.
Life compared to someone that's still growing up and like
Yeah.
in kindergarten and such.
Mm.
Just because when you're older, you're better able to grasp like the story of the movie, and obviously
Yeah.
a child won't grasp that as easily. They'll just grasp like, well, look at the cool character, but they'll still grasp like the narrative of the movie. But
Right.
I feel like it's good for like younger movies also, because it's like you can have a cool character in the movie and have them do like a good thing or whatever.
Yeah.
That way children who are watching the movie and not really understanding the plot are like, that character's cool, I want to be just like him.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like they can kind of do like the same good stuff that character's doing.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because like even though movies can be directed for kids, but I feel like a lot of people will like dismiss children's movies because of that. But the thing is, children they're not idiots. They can still understand things, and they can still feel like
Yeah.
strong narratives. And I think
Yeah.
that's a common thing with
Yeah.
a lot of the movies we've brought up. Even though they're directed for kids, they still have really strong messages that can even resonate with adults. And for the kids, it will teach them something. For the
Yeah.
adults, it will remind them of something and make them feel something.
Exactly.
Which is like, there's been a lot of studies for that, of how movies can like impact children, whether it be from developmentally or educationally or cognitively. There's a lot of studies, and according to Monique Wonderly there's this book called The Journal of Moral Education. Apparently, children's movies are surprisingly really effective when it comes to like morally educating children, and they put in their own research into it. And I'll just say, I really agree. And like, I haven't done like as much in-depth research into it myself than like that person has, but like, even just taking myself into account, like my own story that I mentioned earlier with How to Train Your Dragon, it kind of got me to be more in line with my own morals, and like knowing where I stand with like just living beings in general. Because a lot of people there are people that just think of animals like pets or like dogs and cats, and like they're just animals, you know. They don't really, their feelings don't matter as much. That movie kind of helped me feel like, well, they're alive too. They still have their own feelings, their own emotions, their own hearts.
Yeah.
That kind of helped me be more in tune with that. And I think that article and that just in general is really good at outlining that. I would suggest reading it if you're interested, because I read it a bit. It's really good. But yeah, no, it's just really good. And children are not incapable of thought. And just because something's directed towards children doesn't mean that a person is above that form of art form. Art in general, you cannot be above art. It doesn't matter for who it's for or what you are. It's just art is art, no matter what.
Exactly. Yeah, I just really like how Disney is also diverse. Like going back with Coco, it's just like, as you know, a little girl, you know, I believe it was the Princess Encanto. I don't know if you guys heard it. She's a Colombian princess, I believe, on Disney Channel. But it was just like, you know, seeing that representation, you know, and, you know, seeing it on TV, like, wow, like she kind of looks like me. It kind of just, you know, sparks something inside you, like, oh, I can do that someday, you know. And I'm also represented it in, you know, TV shows. And it's really, a lot of Disney shows are really, you know, good at that, like Coco, and also I believe, well, one of the newer movies, it was Black Panther, a lot of Black community culture and stuff. And it was just like, I don't know, I just really like how that was really impactful. And then also, I believe Princess and the Frog, they have a lot of other Black culture as well, which is really cool because, you know, it creates more,
helps people feel seen.
Yeah, more seen, right? Like as you know, little children. So yeah, like I said, it's really important for children to see those type of movies, to see like, oh, you can do this still as well, you know. And yeah, I really like that portion, and especially about Coco. Like, I don't know, that was just like my movie. And I just like, wow, like that's literally what I do, you know. And it's good to see it, like, you know, being celebrated as, you know, a whole audience. So I really like that part.
Especially like with it's a little off topic, but with like being a racial minority too, and saying like you're seeing person with the same skin color as you, like on TV, like, oh, that's like me. It's like you can resonate with it more.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. And just a lot about like also like what we said, like how a lot of characters, they go outside the boundaries that they're used to in their environment. Like, you know, Coco, what's his name? Sorry.
Which one?
The main character.
Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel. Like he, you know, his family was like, you know, you can't do music, you know. And so he really went out of his way to do what he loves. And especially like with Belle, you know how she used to like reading and stuff, and compared to other girls, they were all doing, you know, other stuff, but she really stuck to reading books and doing what she loves. And it's just really, I really liked how that was really brought to kids as well, because it does teach them, and it taught me a lot of stuff, like, okay, you don't have to do what other people say that you have to do. Exactly. So you're not constrained to the restrictions of your community.
You can just be yourself.
Exactly. So I really like that. How about you, Ethan?
I don't really want to talk about Coco again, because I feel like we kind of said everything about that movie.
You just love Coco.
So I feel like a different Disney movie that kind of had an impact on audiences might have been Moana.
Oh yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but from what I can remember, at some point in the movie, kind of like everything falls apart, everything goes wrong. Moana feels like just kind of giving up, going back, and just kind of quitting her whole journey to save her village. And stuff. But then I think it was the character Maui kind of like helped her get out of that mindset and helped her, like, you know, continue on. And I feel like that kind of showed people how important it is to have someone in your life, like a friend or something that can give you support.
Yeah, for sure.
I really like the movie.
Are you gonna say something, Christian?
I've been trying to think of something, but I can't really think of anything right now. Sorry.
It's fine.
I feel like Tangled might be a good movie also.
Oh, that's yeah, because she was restricted to being in that
tower.
Tower, exactly. She went out of her way when she knew it was like dangerous and stuff.
Yeah.
But she wanted to escape that, so. And then she grew, and then she was a princess. So
She cut her hair.
yeah, and she cut her hair really short. I was so mad when she cut it really short like this. I'm like, bro, at least right here at the shoulder length or something. Yeah, but it was a really good movie. I really like those movies where they show the characters, leaving what they were, used to. So
Like being free.
yeah, being free.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think a movie that goes on the topic of leaving what you're used to is definitely the first Toy Story.
Yeah.
Or especially when Buzz starts getting introduced and everything about Andy's life like shifts away from Woody and starts focusing more on Buzz, and Woody just doesn't accept it at all. And to the other toys, it looked like he killed him as well. That one scene, Woody just threw out the window.
Forgot about that. I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, in the end, Woody learns to accept that Andy loves all his toys the same, and just
Right.
he's just a kid. And he's gonna change trends often for what he likes the most.
exactly.
I like how they progress through Andy slowly getting older, losing interest in his toys a bit, and then
Like throughout the whole series.
and then like the toys starting to like accept that, and then they end up going to that little girl.
Yeah. Oh, when he went to college,
Yeah.
Andy. Oh, that was so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a new adventure as well too. Like change is good. Like it's really prominent in those movies, which is really good. And I think it's really important for children and adults, like you said. Like it does spark a lot of emphasis on how we should deal with those things and how we view those.
For sure.
Sure.
I feel like there's a good movie that not too many people talk about either, and it's Bolt.
Yeah. I was thinking about that one.
I remember that movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's another one I need to rewatch. A lot of the
Yeah,
movies
me too.
we've brought up, I need to rewatch.
I can't really talk about Bolt because it's been so long since I watched it. I don't really remember too much about what happened in it.
Yeah.
Time.
But yeah, I just felt like bringing that up.
Like let's watch that right now.
Yeah, let's watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of countless movies we could name here that we all need to rewatch that definitely share a tone of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it just gives us nostalgia, Yeah, we're children at heart. Exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, no. Children's films are really important and definitely can be impactful. And I think that's definitely not something to overlook.
Yeah.
I feel like even, doesn't matter who it's directed for, it can still be really strong, really important, and can still impact a big audience.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's about it. We're running out of time here, so it's time for us to wrap it up. I'm Alex, that's Ethan, that's Amy, and that's Christian. And that's about it for today. So until we see you again, hope you stay safe, and hope to see you again in the theaters. That's all for today, though. See ya.
If you are interested in a career in sports broadcasting,
Whether you're commentating a live game
or hosting your own TV show,
For more information, contact Greg Poff. That's me at solano.edu.
we hope to see you here next semester. And remember,
It's more than just sports. It's an education.